The American polio epidemic is a significant chapter in the history of public health, spanning several decades in the early 20th century. Here's an overview of its key phases. Early outbreaks, late 19th century to early 20th century. Poliomyelitis, or polio, is caused by the polio virus, which primarily spreads through contaminated food and water. The disease paralyzes the muscles and, in severe cases, can lead to death. Although isolated cases of polio had been recorded in the United States as early as the late 1800s, the first recognized major outbreak occurred in 1916, primarily affecting New York City. This 1916 outbreak claimed over 6,000 lives, with thousands more left paralyzed. Panic gripped the country, with public health measures such as closing schools and theaters to prevent the spread of the virus. The virus primarily affected children, leading to its association with the term infantile paralysis. Rising incidence, 1920s to 1940s. Throughout the first half of the 20th century, polio outbreaks became more frequent, especially during the summer months. The disease struck fear into the American public as there was no cure, and cases of paralysis or death were tragically common. During this period, President Franklin D. Roosevelt became one of the most well-known individuals affected by polio. He contracted the disease in 1921 at the age of 39 and was left permanently paralyzed from the waist down. Roosevelt's struggle with polio raised public awareness, and in 1938 he helped establish the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis, later known as the March of Dimes, which raised funds for polio research and patient care.
If this video helps you, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next time we upload a new video. Now back to the video.
The peak of the polio epidemic occurred in the 1940s and 1950s. In 1952, the United States experienced its worst polio epidemic ever, with nearly 60,000 cases reported, resulting in over 3,000 deaths and more than 21,000 cases of paralysis. The sight of children in iron lungs or mechanical ventilators became symbolic of the disease's devastation. This rising tide of polio cases set the stage for a breakthrough. Dr. Jonas Salk, a virologist at the University of Pittsburgh, developed the first effective polio vaccine, which was based on killed polio virus. In 1954, the vaccine underwent large-scale clinical trials involving 1.8 million children in the U.S. These trials were a resounding success, and on April 12, 1955, the Salk vaccine was declared safe and effective. The introduction of the Salk vaccine was a turning point. Mass vaccination campaigns were launched across the country, drastically reducing the incidence of polio in the United States. In the late 1950s, Dr. Albert Sabin developed an oral polio vaccine using a weakened, live form of the virus. Introduced in 1961, the Sabin vaccine became the preferred method of vaccination because it was easier to administer and provided lifelong immunity. As a result of widespread vaccination efforts, polio cases plummeted in the 1960s and 1970s. The last major outbreak in the U.S. occurred in 1959. By 1979, polio was officially declared eliminated in the United States, with no new cases originating within the country. Though polio was eliminated in the U.S., the disease remained a threat globally. The success of vaccination campaigns in the U.S. inspired similar efforts worldwide, leading to the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, or GPEI, in 1988. Since then, polio cases worldwide have been reduced by over 99%, though the disease still exists in a few regions. The American polio epidemic not only led to the development of vaccines but also shaped the public health infrastructure. It marked a turning point in the understanding of viral diseases, the importance of vaccination, and the development of large-scale clinical trials. Additionally, the March of Dimes, initially founded to combat polio, shifted its focus after the disease was eradicated and is now dedicated to preventing birth defects and improving maternal and infant health.
To more history like this, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any single video upload to our channel.